It will not quite be a total eclipse. We're looking for 92% of totality. There'll be a little bit of a sliver left by just after 11:30 tonight. The partial eclipse ends at 1:21 in the morning. And catch this one, because the next one here in North America is not scheduled until January 20th of the year 2000. We've been fortunate. The past year we've had 3 in North America.
Across the west, across many places. You talked about it way above average, 15 degrees of average at times, and at places in Wyoming, down in the Colorado, portions of Utah as well. Look at all this warmth here. Kind of compare and contrast that to where you don't see. You see kind of some average temps here, but still on the warm side. Now down into Texas, so southern Texas, you didn't enjoy the extreme warmth. You had a few clouds hanging on there today, and that kind of helped you from getting to really warm up. Still cool across the northeast, but that's going to change in a rather dramatic way here shortly. Let's talk the current temps right now. Coldest of air around the northern parts of Maine, back to northern parts of New York State. 20s though, kind of cascading around there around places like Cleveland, back toward Detroit as well, kind of on the cool for places like Lansing, Grand Rapids as well. Even cool back toward some places such as Minneapolis and Milwaukee. Cool for Chicago tonight, but jump back here like 50s to Kansas City, even some 60s down around Dallas and Houston. That's pretty nice for tonight, but a few mid and high clouds are streaming your direction. Staying very nice here across the west with nice temps, and those nice temps will remain, looks like, for the week. We'll have more details of weather scope at the top of the hour. Into Texas, again, I mentioned a few clouds kind of streaming in. Eventually, you'll see things get pretty potentially volatile here with some big storms firing up. Right here, kind of a front moving along. Not a lot of precipitation associated with it around Scottsbluff, Nebraska. You've seen thunderstorms off and on today from that throughout the evening hours especially. Not all the precipitation you're seeing hitting the ground. Some of it is, some of it isn't. We kind of see it here as it falls out of the cloud. The radar picks it up, but it doesn't always make it all the way to the ground. Might not be the real thing. However, some places we know we're seeing the real thing. Around Missoula, Montana, you're reporting snow at this hour. Into Minot, North Dakota at the Air Force Base and your other reporting site reporting snow tonight as well. And so you might even see some rain, though. There's some snow to the north of this, but some rain into some places like Sheridan, Wyoming, also Lewiston, Idaho, with some rain reported from time to time. Not seeing surface reports of this at all, but don't be surprised to maybe see a sprinkle out of this. That could be a possibility. Around Hagerstown, Maryland, though, some light snow still falling. Might see just a stray flake in the D.C. area as well. So you want to hang on for that. And, yeah, not much happening here in Florida right now. You could see some rain, but apparently no surface reports to indicate that right now. There you see a flow of moisture apparent right there across the southern parts of Florida. Down around Miami, Orlando, too, a few clouds there. Fairly quiet here. We can see those clouds kind of moving in, some mid and high clouds into parts of Texas. And some of that clouds up there, well, the precipitation happening into Montana and parts of the Dakotas. Let's talk about juicy air, the dew point, kind of the best way to really describe exactly what's happening. The dew point is the best direct measurement of the amount of moisture in the atmosphere. Take, for example, Houston. Okay, 61 degrees right there, your dew point. That means you've got a pretty high dew point, I mean kind of juicy air, as I said. If you had an air temperature that was like 65 and then you cooled it down to 61, then you have 100% saturation, be full of as much water as that air can hold at that temperature. That's fairly significant. When you have dew points in the 60s through there, that indicates you've got one of the ingredients necessary for some severe weather possibilities. So where you see that, we'll keep a close eye toward that. Some 50-degree dew points back across parts of California as well. But into Texas, this looks like the place that could be firing up over the next day or two here as the storm system kind of gets together and starts sweeping into Florida. I mean, sweeping into Texas, rather. Florida's a different story. Back here, though, we have some cooler air settling in, and eventually, when this thing gets down here, the cold front could kind of create some volatility as it rises here into some of the warmest of air. We showed you that there momentarily. That's why on toward Tuesday even, there's a severe risk moving into the plains, part of Missouri and a part of Illinois. Could be quite stormy here on toward Tuesday. Again, we'll keep an eye on Texas as well, because you've got some of the mix-ins there.
Buddy.
I know what camera I'm on, Carl. A few snow flurries down here in Center City tonight. Those will go by the wayside. Mostly sunny but cool tomorrow. High of 48, a low down to 31. If you get a chance, take a look at the lunar eclipse tonight. Rich?
Philadelphia's NBC10. Now, live from the News Center, this is News 10.
Sussonville section of the city tonight. It's near the Naval Aviation Supply Depot. Neighbors say that they had witnessed problems in this family before, but nothing like what they saw tonight.
Describes how Scavo approached the boyfriend.
I heard bang and he went down. Then the husband ran in the house, and I heard more noise, no more shots. And then
At about 6:30 with Gia in the back of the customized van. And we don't have details on what happened next, but about an hour and a half later, shortly after 8 o'clock, he showed up at Kennedy Memorial Hospital in Stratford, New Jersey. He was suffering from a serious gunshot wound to the chest, presumably self-inflicted, but we don't know that. And the baby was suffering with a superficial wound to the shoulder. She has since been transported to Children's Hospital of Philadelphia, where she's currently being evaluated. We have an identification on the boyfriend. He's now been identified, at least tentatively, as Bill Sauer, 44 years old. And that's the situation here on Brill Street. Live in Crescentville, I'm Mike Strug, News 10.
Okay, Mike.
Friday night, Action News caught up with some astronomy buffs in the Brant Street Observatory on the campus of Eastern College in St. David's. They were watching the comet there, Hale-Bopp. The comet was small there, but through the telescope it looked bigger. Clearly visible along the northwestern horizon. The comet appears as a bright light in the sky with a faint trail behind it, and then the stargazers could also see the near total eclipse of the moon. At its peak, the moon was about 93% in the Earth's shadow. A celestial wonder for stargazers tonight, providing there were no clouds in your way. There were a few of those.
Decades can be seen in the northwest sky tonight. It's Comet Hale-Bopp. This is about what it looks like through a telescope. Now, the best viewing was somewhat earlier tonight on the northwest horizon when the comet passed a mere 123 million miles from Earth. A lunar eclipse is actually making the comet glow a little bit brighter. Where there's no cloud cover, the eclipse reaches its maximum at 11:39 tonight, obscuring all but a tiny sliver at the top of the moon. Now, the eclipse ends as the moon moves out of the Earth's shadow and comes completely into view once again at 1:21 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. So a good night to stay up and watch the skies.
Yeah, a lot of eyes toward the skies, absolutely. Well, News 10's Glenn Hurricane Schwartz joins us live now from the Net Center with more on tonight's celestial events. Glenn?
Yes, and unfortunately, places just 50 miles to the north and to the south of us got to see better views than what we did. Let me show you some pictures of the comet. You're going to get many more chances to see it, and over the next couple of weeks, look at how spectacular it is, and you don't even need high-powered binoculars or telescopes. You can see it with your naked eye, but you need some clear skies. The problem tonight, the satellite picture, as we go down, just one little patch of clouds right there, right across the Delaware Valley. That'll be moving out by daybreak, but by then it's too late. Coming up a little bit later, we'll talk about the viewing conditions for tomorrow night and the 5-day forecast. That's coming up in a few minutes. Tim?
Okay, thanks.
Really see it. See that little sliver? That is all that is left of the moon that's not in shadow.
So it's near a total eclipse. 92% is the percentage of the eclipse, and you can see the pictures there, just barely visible, but it gives you some idea of what's going on.
Totality will occur at about 11:39 Eastern Time. This is taken live from our roof here in Atlanta. Now, the Comet Hale-Bopp is already set in the Eastern Time zone. However, It should still be visible in the western and mountain time zones, so kind of a double treat. And that little red dot you see not too far from the moon is the planet Mars. So just a panoply of phenomenon out there for you to observe this night here in the United States.
So lots going on in the night sky, and of course the pictures. We'd like to thank John Thayer for the pictures up on the roof of the Weather Channel here in Atlanta, Georgia.
We'll be bringing you your 5-day forecast to show you what to expect over the next couple of days, including that possibility of severe weather when we come back.
We'll find out tomorrow night.
Yeah.
Shine, I think, is a big contender. Yeah. And Show Me the Money, of course.
Absolutely. I hope the English patient does quite well, too, but I'm sure it will. Well, let's get the latest on the forecast and see what Glenn has picked out.
Yes, of my choices for the weather, we picked the clouds, and unfortunately came through just in the wrong time for the eclipse. We've been following that since this morning, and so it's no surprise that the clouds and even the snow flurries have come into the area. At the moment, the temperature isn't falling all that much. It's 37 degrees at our latest WeatherNet site in Abington Junior High School in Abington Township. The high there today, 45, the low 30, humidity 50%, the barometer 30.17, and it's rising. No measurable precipitation, although there are some snow flurries around the area. Now, the average high for this date is 54, the average low 35. We had 45 today officially at the airport with a low of 29, and again, no measurable precipitation. Bad cloud timing. The entire day was clear. The entire day tomorrow is going to be clear, and then we have a little patch of clouds come across just as the eclipse is nearing its peak. 40 degrees out at the airport right now, 30 in Allentown, 23 in the Poconos. Temperatures will drop later on tonight as the skies clear. This is that area of clouds that we've been following since 6:30 this morning, and there it goes straight in this direction, just as the computers were predicting. And again, there's the area of the light snow actually accumulated in parts of western Pennsylvania, and most of this not reaching the ground over here, but just enough is to create a couple of phone calls into the Weather Center here this evening. Cold air continues across the eastern half of the country. There are the snowflakes in western Pennsylvania, and there is a very weak weather system that's moving through tonight. High pressure will build in tomorrow. Significant weather system in Florida not affecting us, but this will combine with this to produce a pretty significant storm by the middle of the week once again. By midnight tonight, there's that little disturbance. The computer's saying it's lagging back a little bit, but you can see the best threat of the flurries to the south. Then the system moves offshore, high pressure builds in. We get a reinforcing little shot of the cold air. We zoom out here, and this is going to be the main area of precipitation tomorrow, some of it in the frozen form, and then big area of rain and thunderstorms moving into the Ohio Valley, unfortunately, and then it's going to be coming this way by Wednesday and into Thursday. Here's the forecast then for tonight. Clouds and some flurries around, then clearing and colder toward daybreak.
Time lapse. Look at that. We had building clouds throughout the evening hours, and there goes the sun. Fortunately, though, the clouds thinning out enough that we did get to see, or a lot of people got to see, the lunar eclipse. But this is what we're watching. This is the storm system that's responsible for some of the flakes, some of the light rain. It's a real fast mover, so by the time most people wake up tomorrow morning, it's going to be out of here. We'll see a lot of sunshine. Satellite 6 showing the storm system. It's really a very small, weak, upper-level disturbance. Didn't really think it would maintain the moisture over the mountains, but it did. It's managing to hold together somehow. Action radar showing that, yes, we are talking about a little bit of snow here and there, a little light rain around the Delaware Valley. It's moving out. The next storm system, the warm front beginning to work near Chicago. This is what we're watching for Tuesday night into Wednesday. Tomorrow is going to be a beautiful day. High pressure building east means a warmer flow will begin to work up. 48 for the high, then 54 by Tuesday. But Tuesday night into Wednesday, again, it's going to be wet. Wednesday, we could even get some thunderstorms as that taps into some Gulf moisture. The call from AccuWeather temps will be on the rebound after a chilly Sunday, first Sunday of spring. 45 was our high. That's 9 degrees below normal, not including the wind chill. 29 our low. Wilmington right now 38. Allentown 30. Trenton 34. And Cape May 39 degrees. The action cam out at 30th Street Station. All quiet there right now. Currently in Philadelphia, partly cloudy, 40 degrees, humidity 39%, barometer 30.18. It's rising. Winds northerly at 9 miles an hour, so a little bit of a wind chill of 30 degrees. 30 degrees, I can say that. 40 in Center City, the Northeast 36, Camden 38, City Avenue 39, and the airport 40. The exclusive AccuWeather 5-day forecast. Some clouds and cold tonight, 27 for low, maybe a flake or two. Sunshine for the morning rush, 33. Mostly sunny by the afternoon, 48. Tuesday, increasing clouds, 54. Maybe a shower. Wednesday's going to be wet. Clearing on Thursday, 52. Friday should be beautiful, 58. So a few flakes.
This is your local forecast. Weather information you can plan on. Only on the Weather Channel.
WeatherScope. Wintry weather holds on in certain areas, and there's more snow in the forecast for some of you. Most of the nation enjoyed the outdoors this weekend thanks to very tranquil weather. And there is a double feature in the night sky, a comet and an eclipse. Those stories plus in-depth forecasts and analysis on this edition of WeatherScope.
Thanks for joining us here at the Weather Channel. This is WeatherScope. Christina Abernathy, Warren Madden. As you just saw, we've got a double feature out there, especially if you live in the western U.S. Total eclipse, well, mostly total eclipse of the moon, and a comet in the sky.
And we are looking at live pictures there of our eclipse. And stay tuned, because coming up later on in WeatherScope in about 8 minutes, we will view the eclipse in its most eclipse form.
Right. It was going to be reaching its maximum 92% at about 11:39, and we'll be showing it to you then and there.
But now for a look at a bit of wintry weather. Snow is flying again today in parts of Michigan. This is Oakland County, just north of Detroit. It started snowing early this morning. You received between 2 and 3 inches. However, as much as 6 inches of snow fell in some areas around Flint and Saginaw. Well, let's see what's going on out there right now. And things really pretty quiet for most of the country. Not a lot going on at all. Of course, the western half of the U.S., Warren will have more on that coming up. We're going to focus in on the east, and a bit of snow to talk about, and also a bit of wet weather to talk about, too. We've got some rain in Florida, and we have got some snow in Pennsylvania and in West Virginia. So parts of Pennsylvania have seen the snow also. But right now, things really pretty quiet in this part of the country. Most of the northeast, New York, and on into New England, fairly quiet. Here to the south, though, with this low, we do have a bit of snow still through Pennsylvania and into West Virginia. And here's what it looks like on the radar picture. You can see not even that impressive here, but nevertheless, it continues to move on through these regions, and really many areas not even reporting any precipitation at all. As far as your snowfall totals, well, you might see a bit more snow here through parts of Pennsylvania, and to the west, with an area of low pressure really getting wound up, we're thinking you could see some significant amounts of snow. Now, this is just through noon on Monday here through Minnesota. Beyond that time frame, even more snow could be piling up in some of these areas and spreading on eastward. Temperatures throughout this part of the country, we're 21 now in Albany, 33 in New York, and 40 in Philadelphia. To the south we go. Again, things really pretty quiet here. As far as your temperatures, 53 Atlanta, 56 Jacksonville, the warm spot, 72 in Miami. And northward we go, where things quiet here as well, but look for that to be changing as we head through time. 29 now in Minneapolis. Look out for snow and maybe some icy conditions in your forecast. 27 in Chicago. Let's take a look at some of those changes that are going to be going on across the country as winter returns. And here's what we see in our upper flow. Our upper winds, a split flow across the U.S., but starting out the week, that's going to be changing. We're going to see a phasing taking place. That's going to add to the strength of the surface system. So that area of low pressure will get wound up, move northeastward, and as it does so, we'll see the cold air here, warm, moist air to the south, so rain and storms here. But in this area, we're expecting some rather significant amounts of snow from the Dakotas to Minnesota into Wisconsin. Warren?
Well, your Sunday weather in the western half of the nation turned out to be beautiful in most areas. For example, Austin, Texas, where the weather cooperated nicely for a fundraising bicycle race. Perfect conditions, lots of sunshine, temperatures in the 80s, and as you can see, many took advantage of the conditions to pedal for a good cause. The sponsor of this race and the recipient of the funds raised, cancer research. And it looks like it was a great day for hopping on the bike and pedaling your way from here, point A to point B. Our point A and point B and point C through Z here in the west for you. This is the low that we think is going to be moving out into the center of the country and causing problems during the day on Monday. However, right now, not really causing too much in the way of problems. Just a few showers here in western Nebraska. A little bit going on here in the area of northern Idaho and into western Montana. We'll take a look at that. Also here on the west coast, things really quiet. Not much happening at all. Our temperatures 46 in Seattle right now, 58 in Medford. Reno, you've got a temperature of 57 degrees. As we move down the coast, both 59s at Los Angeles and San Diego. Las Vegas, 67. Salt Lake City, the double nickel, 55, 52 in Denver, and 46 in Lander, Wyoming. Did we have any records today? Record highs? Yes, we did. We have 4 to tell you about. Sacramento tied your record at 80 degrees. Grand Junction, Colorado, and Milford, Utah both broke their records with 75. And we have another record for you. Heber City, Utah, 68 degrees, new record. Okay, here we go with your satellite. You can see that mass of clouds moving to the east. Not too much happening along the west coast, though Seattle, you did see a brief shower earlier on. Here's our, a lot of this not reaching the ground, but some scattered showers are still moving through portions of Montana and into North Dakota. We move it a little further west, and here we can see, well, you can see better if I move over to the other side of the map. You can see we do have some showers around here. Some light snow now going on both at Butte and up toward Helena, Montana, and Lewiston picking up a little bit of light rain. Our current map showing the high pressure. Here's that low we're worried about, and as the jet stream dips, it gathers up the speed, gathers up the strength, and it's pulling out into the middle of the country. What will it be doing, though? Well, for that, we've got a forecast and some more information on that with Christina.
Well, that's right. An active spring pattern returning to some parts of the country. And, of course, we talked about the snow to the north, but to the south, a different story. Plenty of moisture moving in with this low. We're also going to see that strong jet stream here, quite a dip in our jet stream, and we're going to see a series of weak disturbances moving along that flow. You combine those ingredients and the stage is set for some rough weather here, so look out. Severe storms may occur throughout this region. Well, let's head on to our forecast and see the details, and we'll watch the system pushing on eastward. We're going to have rain, maybe some storm, snow, and then in between some icy conditions. And then this is the area in particular that we're watching for severe weather. But to the north, rain and snow. Look out, Minneapolis, St. Paul. That means you could have some rather significant snow falling as we head through the day. Precipitation amounts not terribly impressive here. Snowfall amounts, and keep in mind this is just through noon Monday. We may see more than is indicated on our map here beyond that time frame. Low temperatures on Monday, pretty cool in the northeast. And here are your high temperatures on Monday. Coolest to the north, but in the southern half of the country, 60s, 70s, and 80s. What about the rest of our forecast, Warren?
Well, as we move through time, what we're looking at is a movement of our cooler air. Here on Tuesday, our coldest air centered over Minnesota and stretching down in toward Kansas City, Missouri. But as we push on into the week, by Wednesday, you can see the coldest air now through Chicago, down along the Mississippi, down toward Natchez. And as we move on to Thursday, it's starting to rotate back up into Canada, so that by Friday, when you look, you're in the 50s here from Fargo, back over to Detroit, over to Pittsburgh, and then New York City and Boston. Where's the 40s and 30s? Trapped here in northern Minnesota, into northern Michigan, and in northern New England, and into portions of eastern New York. So it's going to be warming up. Yes. Now, as far as what's going to be falling out of the sky, well, right here you can see this is the same storm that Christina was telling you about by Tuesday, into the Ohio River Valley, the Great Lakes, and into the Mississippi River Valley with showers and thunderstorms. Some snow still here on the northern end of it. We move it over into the East Coast here on Wednesday. Meanwhile, much of the rest of the country quiet except here in the northwest. That continues on Thursday. Our storm exits the East Coast, leaving behind some showers in the northeast and also some thunderstorms here in South Florida. By Friday, the whole system's gone off the East Coast. Some showers here in the Great Lakes. And we do have some showers to tell you about here in the northwest and stretching down into northern California. Perhaps a few showers around for places like Arcata and Eureka.
Well, it's time now to head back to our lunar eclipse, and you can see there a near totality now.
Yep, 92% of the moon covered. That sliver you see is the only portion still in the sun's light. That red dot you see not too far from the moon is the planet Mars, which is now directly opposite on the Earth.
There's been a little bit of light rain around Baltimore and the D.C. area, a few sprinkles. Those are moving on out. Salisbury, Ocean City, Pocomoke City, you may see a few raindrops, and that will be about it. Temperatures are generally running in the low and mid-40s, so there won't be any wet snowflakes here. This moves out, and you'll have a decent day tomorrow before the rain comes in for the middle part of the week. 48 right now at National in D.C., 27 at Logan. It's 11 in Caribou. Another nippy day for the Northeast, especially New England for the first weekend of spring. Look at the goose eggs lined up. Wind chill temperatures. We're talking wind chills of below zero. Not as bad as they were earlier on as the winds kind of space themselves farther and farther apart. Like in this area over towards the high, the winds lighten up, and you don't have to deal with the wind chill as much. A little bit of a low here. It's not certainly a major storm, nothing like we're going to see in the next couple of days in the middle of the country. That storminess is just getting developed. Winds are turning around to the south in the plains, and that will cause some problems tomorrow once the snow kicks in, with some blowing and probably some drifting snow, especially through the Dakotas and western Minnesota. Tonight we pick up the storminess developing here.
Question to experience a few flakes in that region flying around there. Down toward Baltimore, some rain there as well at Baltimore Washington International Airport. Reported rain at the top of the hour. Still some rain is a possibility. In the parts of West Virginia, we've had a little bit of rain to talk about there as well. Around Martinsburg, you're seeing it all right now. You're seeing rain and snow and even a bit of fog kind of thrown into the mix there. Not picking it entirely up on radar, but at the top of the hour, that's what you were experiencing there.
Skies and excellent viewing. This is just all over the past hour, totality, or 92% of totality, that's as close as we got to totality with this particular lunar eclipse, occurred at 11:39 Eastern, less than an hour ago, and we will see this partial eclipse end at 1:21 Eastern. That would be 12:21 for those of you watching in the Midwest. And you can see it there, just a sliver of the moon being seen as the Earth is between the sun and the moon. That's what casts the shadow. And we won't have another total eclipse here in the United States, here in North America.
Map indicates the situation there. Texas, you're kind of stuck with some warm temperatures, maybe some storms as well. Plenty of low-level moisture in place all throughout this region. We'll show you just how warm in a couple of moments. Kind of a weak frontal boundary, kind of slowly inching its way southward across Florida. Could see just a scattered shower or two into South Florida tomorrow. High pressure, though, you're going to like what it does to your morning. In New York City and Hartford, you have to hit the streets early. You're out there, expect the sunshine. On the cool side, yeah, but plenty of sunshine. It's going to be a fairly nice day. High pressure kind of moving this direction, moves in a clockwise direction. That brings some cool air across some cities in the northeast and also contributes and, if you will, kind of adds fuel to the fire here. Across the plains, we see a scenario developing where from this, the cool air blowing this direction, on the return flow here, the clockwise direction brings the moisture back and across Texas. Plenty of moisture there, and you're still being fed moisture, so you've got more of what you need, including a couple of other things we'll show you in a moment. System taking shape, moving across the plains, could be causing some problems. Precipitation currently, we're not seeing surface indications of a lot of this here. It's showing up on radar, but a lot of places that report what's happening, weather service offices, airports and whatnot, don't show us anything out of this area right now. Back in Nebraska, some scattered showers and some snow into parts of Montana, around Minot, North Dakota, and you have seen rain off and on into Wyoming. For example, Florida looks like it's covered up in some rain in South Florida, but you may be seeing sprinkles, maybe Alligator Alley or somewhere in there and elsewhere in South Florida, but we're not seeing, again, reports of that right now. All up to some spots here, even around Dover, some drizzle off and on, and around Baltimore, actually Baltimore-Washington International Airport. We've seen some reports lately of a bit of rain in your region as well. Moving onward now, the satellite picture indicates some cloudiness leaving Florida. And eventually this system we're talking about causing storms into Texas and Oklahoma tomorrow will bring toward Tuesday morning some chances of rain back to the panhandle. Fairly quiet across the Pacific Northwest, awaiting a couple of systems moving in. Scattered cloud or two across parts of California, but looking okay there the next few days actually. Into Texas, so that's where we'll go now to have a look at what's going to be set up.
Now, if you've yet to take a look at Comet Hale-Bopp, tonight would be a good time. The comet is visible to the naked eye, and you can see it at the end of twilight. Kara Biratiri has more on this astronomical marvel.
1, 0.
The first in a series of rockets has launched toward Comet Hale-Bopp. Astronomers around the world have been studying the icy object for months from the ground, but comet expert Kelly Beatty believes it's important to get a closer look whenever the opportunity arises.
Every comet is different, and unless they're able to study a whole range of them, they won't be able to know what in general comets are like.
And where should people look?
Well, we should look over there, I think.
This one is very unusual since it's so large, according to Brian Marsden, the gatekeeper of newly discovered astronomical objects.
Nobody we know of has seen it before. We have calculated that it would have been here about 4,200 years ago, around about 2200 BC.
Hale-Bopp is about 25 miles in diameter. The object that scientists believe caused the demise of the dinosaurs was only 5 to 10 miles across. According to most, that's plenty reason to learn as much as possible about its composition.
Comets, in a sense, come from out of nowhere. And if one were to come and threaten Earth, it would be useful to know what it's made of. Is it really solid ice packed together, or is it kind of spongy? Are there big rocks inside? Those kinds of things, in order to prepare some kind of defense.
Hale-Bopp will certainly have a perfectly amicable visit this time around the sun. The next time it visits this corner of the solar system in another 2,000 years or so, scientists estimate it will be closer but no threat. The next time after that, who knows?
And here's where to look for tonight in St. Louis, for example, where the sky is clear. Look out to the northwest, then look up off of the horizon, and that's where you'll find it. Okay? The sun's down, it's clear. Even in town you can see it. It'll move toward the west and higher in the sky, and then between April 1st and April 15th, we've got a new moon, so it'll be a dark sky. Get out there and enjoy it. Get out there now while the clouds are still waiting to build, because there's going to be a change weather-wise. Showers and storms return to St. Louis and elsewhere here in the middle of the country for 2 weeks.